when I was there, there's a line that I share often, and it's a quote. It's not mine. It's kind of like an internet meme, and it's it's tradition is peer pressure from dead people. And I always think it's like a little jolting statement, and I find it's but and I always gets a little laugh. People are like kind of thrown off when I share it, and I very clearly articulate I'm not against tradition, and in fact I'm telling stories, which is the oldest teaching practice known in history, is the importance of telling stories. So I tell people, look, if you've done things 100 years ago and you're doing them today and they work for kids, keep doing it. In fact, on the opposite side, if you're doing new stuff that doesn't work, you shouldn't be doing new stuff just because it's new. And I always kind of articulate that, but I'm always kind of thinking about, I'm trying to listen what's going on in the room, really try to build on your messaging. And I notice everything in the room, and I notice behind you, there's a sign that says excellence is our tradition. So tradition is literally in the tagline of the school district. So I'm thinking, like, am I going to like offend everybody by saying this, and am I going to cause an issue? But then I actually wrote a post about it, and I'll share it. It'll be in the link down below, because when this is posted, that will be available as well. But when you think of that terminology, excellence is our tradition, what does that mean to you? And like, what does that mean to your school district?
Well, it's interesting. When you say the word tradition, I think of like my grandma. I think of, the old things that we used to do, like gather for meals, things like that. But here in our district, excellence, it means it is a tagline, but it's ingrained in everything we do. So what we do really well is we engage and we empower our team. And I love to say yes when people come into my office, or when I see somebody in the hallway, I'm in a classroom, and they say, "Hey, we should try this." I don't just say yes automatically, but we talk through it, have a conversation. We are always looking for ways to get better. In fact, I have a quote on my wall here that says something to the effect, "When you know better, do better."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that excellence is about, because we know, and it's not just I know, we know collectively, our team, and we're a team of 850 strong, from our bus drivers to our food service to our custodians, our teachers, our principals, all of them. We're a team. And when we know better, and there's lots of ideas, and they're all out there working with kids, they're working with families. And when something needs to get changed, we change it. A lot of school districts, at no fault of their own, get stuck in this like the holding or this waiting space. I think there's a book, Dr. Seuss, All the Places You'll Go, that I used to read to my 8th graders, used to read to kindergartners, high schoolers. There's this waiting space where you just hang out and you wait for something to happen. I don't want to be in that waiting space. Sometimes you can't avoid it, but I want to be taking action. And I use that term a lot. And really that drives what we do. We want to be excellent. And it's an excellent, not just in academics, in arts, in activities, in sports, relationships, every single thing we do, we want to be excellent. And that's how we put kids first. That's how we make our learners I got that from you. That's how we make our learners better, is by infusing that excellence. And not everything we do, we have a lot of room to grow and be better, but we really try to sometimes take risks. Sometimes, sometimes things work and we admit it and we move on. And the other thing that it means is not just doing the flavor of the month. We don't really believe in sending, we do send staff occasionally to professional development. I'm active, our principals, our staff members are active in their professional organizations, but at the same time, we go and we bring it back and we talk about it. And if it fits into what we're doing, or we think it could really help kids and we have room for it, we do it. Otherwise, we put on a shelf. And when the time is right, and it might not ever be right, then we take it off and we work on it. But excellence it's dynamic. It's not, our tagline says it's our tradition, but it's not that we're doing the same things we were a long time ago. We're continuously morphing, we're improving, and we're getting better. And we're pushing our kids, that continuous improvement. And I don't know, continuous improvement is kind of a tired term in my opinion lately, but it really is, that growth is important. And innovation.
So the interesting thing is I travel all over and I get to see these school districts, and the school districts that I feel are just doing amazing things and just so far ahead of everyone else. they always have this little sense of dissatisfaction, like they're just a little dissatisfied, you know, think like, hey, we can get better at this, we can kind of do this, and you can see they have like a focus on continuously getting better, a focus on learning. The districts that are like, we're awesome, those ones are like, I don't know if you are, because they're just kind of like, we're here, we're good. And especially, you know, there should be nothing should be synonymous with the term learning organization more than a school or a school district, right? Constantly getting better. And it does start at the top. And I'll give you a good example of this for everyone who's listening. Before we got on the podcast, Ann Marie is rereading Innovator's Mindset. It's like she was studying for this podcast. And I was like kind of thrown off by that. But, you know, she's always trying to get better. And one of the things that really resonated with me when we were talking about this, you're reading it and you're like, yeah, it's kind of like, it's not to like get on new ideas, but like kind of like, hey, how do I use some of the stuff here in this book to really kind of really rethink how we're maybe doing something currently, really pushing. And one of the things that you talked about is moving past engagement to true like empowerment.